to Tarot with Tanya. I'm Tanya, a psychic medium and tarot card reader. And I'd like to do a reading this week for Monday, May 8th to the next Sunday, the 15th. And we are starting with a moon in Sagittarius on the 8th, and we'll end next Sunday with the moon in Pisces, so going from fire to water. And both of those show up in the reading this week. And I am using the Wildwood Tarot. A friend recently gifted me that, and I just absolutely love it. It just really speaks to me. The cards are so beautiful, and there are some differences in meanings for some of them. So as they come up, I'll talk about that too. Otherwise, no really big astrological events this week. There is a grand square I'll talk about next week briefly. But we've just come off of that eclipse, the lunar eclipse in Scorpio on Friday, May 5th. And there was a theme there of regeneration, of letting things go that we don't need, of rebirth, renewal. And that's what I would say the theme is for the cards for this week as well. So we're coming off of that, continuing it. And then I'll also end with an oracle card. Take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. And this is a practice in some ways of growing your own intuition, knowing what does resonate for you, you know, maybe jotting down what the cards are for each day, and then seeing if you feel connected to that, or if you have a different kind of energy that comes through for you that day. So, as I said, Monday, May 8th, and we actually get an 8 for that day, and there are 2 8s that come up this week. This is the 8 of Cups. It's referred to as vessels in this deck. And they've given subtitles to the cards, and this one is Rebirth. Often this card, 8 of Cups, or like I said, vessels here, is about walking away from something, letting it go for that higher spiritual purpose. The 8th house in the zodiac wheel is ruled by Scorpio, the water sign. The sign of death and rebirth, of regeneration. So, you know, here we are starting with that 8 on 8. So I think that's very sweet. And this is such a beautiful depiction of it with the river, the waterfall, the river, a sort of overflowing cauldron into others. So how is it in that bigger cosmic movement, that lunar eclipse that we experience, that we are changed? And it can take a while to recognize that, but I think you know, the encouragement to do so is there. And Monday would be a really great day to reflect on that. Tuesday, we continue with the cups, or the vessels, and this time the 3. And this is such a happy card. Usually you'll see 3 women. Here we have 3 cranes, incredibly graceful creatures. They're just favorites for me. I love the long-legged wading birds. And you know, this one's titled Joy. So maybe by letting go of what no longer serves us, those old feelings, those old issues that might have been clogging things up, we can get to more of a sense of joy. So that's our Tuesday. Wednesday is when we move into that fire energy. And here we have the Knight of Bows, Fox. And the Knights, all the royal cards, of course it's all animals with those royal cards. And you wouldn't know that, but now you do. And the bows also are wands. So, again, one of those interesting differences for me. So, the Knight of Wands, and that's fire. So, we have this fox that has this very fiery, beautiful coat. And it is initiation, using instinct. All the knights, well, especially this one, moves things forward, has an energy. Maybe you don't even know quite what you're doing, but you need to do something to move stuff forward. So I still see that regeneration theme, letting go of the old emotions, moving into some happier ones, finding maybe a smaller group of friends that's more harmonious for you, and then what are you going to do with that energy? We get another 8 on Thursday. And this one is the 8 of stones, and stones are the earth energy of this deck. Might know of them as coins or discs. This card is called skill. I've seen it referred to as mastery in other decks. And you can see, I hope anyway, you've got a person, a sort of caveman figure here, literally sitting in front of the cave. You got your tools he's using, and perhaps objects he's created or is working with, so forth, in front of him. So by Thursday, how are you learning to better use this energy? What has regenerated for you? What do you want to put your energy in? I feel there's a lot of shedding right now. It's another way that you can think of that 8 of Cups. And then once we shed, what do we want to do with that energy that is authentic to us? What skills do we now want to develop? So Thursday's a good day for thinking about that. And then by Friday, we have the first major, and we end up with 2 for these 7 days. And here you have the shaman, and frequently you'll see that as the magician in other decks. And again, you have tools that are being used here. I love this this figure, perhaps in front of a big old tree. Got the staff there, got fire and smoke, the different elements. And the shaman or the magician mixes those up, sometimes literally tosses them into the air to get that different configuration. So, it's the number 1, obviously. So you have 0, the Fool, and then the first card beyond that, it's the magician or the shaman. And again, how are we going to use our energies after we've gone through some shedding, some reevaluating, hopefully post that lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Then when it comes to Saturday, we get the second major for the week, and this is the Hooded Man. And it's number 9, so it would be like the Hermit or the Crone in many other decks. So I love the figure here, and you can't see the face, and part of that energy is about being impersonal, not having ego anymore. Ego can show in the face. Aries is about the ego. It's the infant, and it represents, it rules the head, the face. Taurus has some stuff in there too, but it is that baby starting energy. And so at this point on the spiritual journey, that's not so important anymore. What's inside is what's important. The lantern is a very common symbol associated with this card because it is representative of the inner light. How do we lead ourselves and others forward? How do we see into the unseen world? Things like that. And that is part of the regeneration, I believe, that we're experiencing now. Shedding more of the always have to use my brain, always have to be looking out there, seeing what's going on with other people, seeing how I might be judged, how I might be judging others, and instead moving internally and seeing what's more important to you, bringing your value system forward. And, I totally believe in do as you will and harm none. So, that has to be in, I think, alignment with universal law, which is harm none. But certainly, something that we can all pay attention to and look at what those values are and try to live more of our own values. When we get to next Sunday, we get a second 9. And this one is the 9 of arrows, and it is subtitled dedication. It's a very different take on what this card typically holds as a symbolic meaning, because arrows in this case are swords. Generally, this card depicts intense energy, mental energy turned inward against the self. Not like, the softer, earthy energy of the hermit or the crone, or again, in this case, the hooded man. But a harsh energy of self-judgment. So I've seen it called cruelty, and it's cruelty against the self. Here, so different with the word dedication. That completely changes it. And, it came with a guidebook, so of course I studied that and looked at what it had to say about this card, and I really like it. And I want to bring it in a little closer so you can see she's holding a bow. It's still arrows though, and it's almost like she's using that bow like it's an instrument. And she's sending out these arrows of energy, of dedication. And if you notice also, her eyes are even closed. So, internal process. It's not about aiming at something that you are visually looking for, but about how do I instinctively, even though it's a mental card in ways, but it's using your mental ability to direct something from a very internal, intuitive place. And 9 is, that's sort of a number. So I really like the difference in this card, and it turns up from a pretty tough card, fairly challenging, into something that I believe is a lot easier to work with. How do we take, again, our authentic self, our ideas, and, use them with some kind of dedication for bettering the world. So, water and water, Monday, Tuesday, get to fire on Wednesday, earth energy for our Thursday, the shaman or the magician energy, getting into the majors Friday and Saturday. Saturday with that very internal, earthy, hooded man, or again, you might know that as hermit or crone, the wise, older person, and then ending our week Sunday when the moon's in Pisces at that point with this 9 of arrows, dedication. What are we dedicating ourselves to? And how are we doing that from a very internal and authentic place? So for our oracle card, I am using Enchanted Blossoms, and what came up for us kind of surprised me. It was ambition. And you have hollyhocks and a painted lady for the butterfly. And I will share with you what the creator of this oracle deck had to say about ambition. Hollyhock is a beautiful embodiment of ambition, with its tall stalks ever reaching for the sky and its ability to grow in many varied conditions. The flowers grow right on the trunk without branching out, instinctively knowing the straightest line is the best way up. Native to Asia and Europe, hollyhock can grow up to 7 feet when left wild in the garden. They bloom in a range of colors from white through pink, purple, and yellow. Hollyhock has been used medicinally for centuries to treat breathing trouble and inflammation. There is something you, us, we would like to accomplish that is bigger than self, and now is the perfect time to work on it. Apply for that better position, start your own business, launch a new project, enroll in a study, or volunteer. Meditate on what you might be striving for. Start looking for steps or opportunities that will help you achieve your life goals. If you're not sure what you want, think about what you love to do, no matter how crazy it may seem. Areas you love are always good places to start looking for what you were called to do. You will be surprised at the opportunities that open up in odd places when you look. And I think that's so true, that there's the way that serendipity works in our lives. We can have those very sweet surprises, especially when we're open to the trust and the faith. So it ends with some questions. What do I want to achieve that is bigger than what I'm doing now? What could I do with my life that would make me want to jump out of bed every day? And for me, this very much fits the theme of regeneration. Have we shed something from the past that's been holding us back? Are we finding more of what gives us joy? Even if it scares us a little bit, even if it's hard to do, take some courage. I genuinely believe when we can get ourselves to do those things, to contribute our unique talents to the world will step up and support us. May not be exactly like what we had in mind, but it will be there, and we will be able to carry on and give what we have to give. So, beloveds, I hope this helps each and every one of you. And keep practicing building your own intuition. It's going to get more and more important as all these, new things are coming out with, the AI, all the technology, the deep fakes. We're going to have to learn to navigate some things with not just the mind, which of course is a great tool, but also with the heart, with the gut, which are other tools. So have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate every single person who tunes into this. And please share, like, subscribe so I can reach others who might benefit from this. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I will leave that information in the description box below the video. Have a great week.